Hello, welcome to Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. So, what's happening this week? Well, there has been a great reversal by Attorney General Garland of a matter of which the prior Attorney General had vacated. It's matter of AB. Now, let me tell you what has happened so you understand the situation and how great it is. The prior administration, that being the Trump administration, did everything they could, even in my opinion, outside the law, to make it more difficult, if not impossible, for people to apply for asylum inside the United States. Now, there's a lot of cases over the years where women generally have been abused by their husbands and in different countries, and the police, the government, the courts would do nothing about it. They basically just said it's a domestic issue, and they essentially let the beating go on, and they essentially stated that the husband has every right in which to abuse and beat his wife however he wants, as long as he wants, no matter what, and they will not interfere. Well, for years, and this is many years ago, in the United States, people were trying to, they were escaping to the U.S., and they were trying to apply for asylum essentially based on domestic violence. That they were being beaten and so forth by their husbands and had to escape for fear of persecution from their husbands. And there were cases that were percolating along in the courts for years, and finally a really good case came out which said that for domestic violence coming from other countries, that will qualify for asylum. And it basically opened the doors to help these people to get here and to apply for asylum. Now, obviously, if their testimony wasn't credible or they didn't prove their case, they weren't granted it. However, assuming that their testimony was credible, assuming that they fell under the proper provisions, they were granted asylum based on being a victim of domestic violence. And you didn't have to go from square one and try to show why domestic violence is under one of the 5 enumerated categories and so forth. So what happened is that particular case, matter of AB, was essentially, not essentially, it was vacated by Attorney General Barr. Okay, the prior Attorney General, which we can have a couple hours discussion on how I believe he wasn't acting as an Attorney General should, but that's a different story for a different video. So he totally vacated that decision, which meant back to square one, that people, women primarily, that were beaten by their husbands in all of these different countries had no recourse to apply for asylum. And if they were going to apply for asylum, it was significantly likely that they would not have won because, again, they'd have to prove that domestic violence falls under one of the enumerated provisions and everything else you normally need to prove. And so after Barr had decertified that decision, there was a lot of chaos in the immigration world and the asylum world on what to do and how to handle these cases, because unfortunately, as it is, there are a lot of women that are being beaten by their husbands in different countries and are trying to escape to the U.S. Now, the U.S. is thankfully, with Biden again returning to helping people who really need asylum. And so about a week ago, Attorney General Garland vacated Attorney General Barr's decertification of that decision. Now, does that make sense what I said? He basically said to Barr, nope, you were wrong. You should not have decertified that decision. I am basically taking your decertification and throwing it in the garbage. And again, it now stands that victims of domestic violence in their home country can come to the U.S., and it is an effective way to apply for asylum. So if you have a case that was denied in the past because Barr decertified that decision, I would make a motion to reopen, get back into immigration court in order to try to apply again, based on the fact that matter of AB is now currently moving forward, and that people of domestic violence have grounds of relief available to them under asylum law. Okay, if you like the video, click like, subscribe, and more on the coming videos.